Senator Chuck Schumer, who you will be hearing from later tonight, has repeatedly supported a physical barrier in the past, along with many other Democrats. They changed their mind only after I was elected president. The federal government remains shut down for one reason, and one reason only, because Democrats will not fund border security.
Now, that's
more news. That's more news to us. More news to us. More news to us.
It's more, but see, this is the part where it's like, oh man, this is real juicy right here. This gets real juicy. All right, so now he's saying, okay, hey, Chuck Schumer, the Democrats, they have been in favor of, a border wall or fencing or whatever. They've been in favor of that before. They voted in favor of that before. But the only reason why they're not in favor of it now is because Donald Trump is the president. And other people are saying the same type of thing.
We won't name those people, but yes, a lot of people are saying those.
They're saying the same type of things. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting. It's interesting. He is right. He is right that Democrats, they have voted in favor of like border security and fencing and the wall before. Now, on a few different occasions. Mm-hmm. Now, have they voted for a 30, 35, 40-foot wall that Trump is talking about? No, they have not done that. Have they voted for, fencing? Yes, they have. There's already fencing there. Yes, that's because of, Congress.
That's actually legitimate infrastructure.
No doubt. And nobody's saying that they are against like the fencing that is
already there. And if it's already there, it should be maintained.
Yeah. So and like the proposal that Trump was talking about earlier in that clip, virtually everything that he was talking about, Democrats would sign off on except the border wall that he wants so bad. So it's interesting. Like what is interesting about this is that Trump and Republicans, they have always made the case that the Democratic Party, Democratic leadership, they don't care about the border. They could care less about the border. They are the party of open borders.
So what you're saying is that talking point that Trump just used in regard to the Democrats being for a border wall before he became president actually runs in contradiction to the talking points that he and Republican surrogates in the media have been using.
And they use that all the time.
That two-word
open
buzzword, that two-word buzz phrase.
And see, we always knock it as something that is mythical. It's not even there. It's not an open. Nobody is open border. Nobody supports open borders because there are checkpoints. There are legal points of entry all across that border.
Because there are checkpoints that kind of destroy
exactly.
the narrative of
that's why it's a myth.
Open borders.
Yeah, but here Trump is actually stating that to the whole country. Hey, the Democrats, they're actually not open border. They're not actually the party of open borders. They actually did approve of border security, but when I became president, they just, they don't want it because I want it.
Okay, so maybe they were what he's saying. They were for the wall before. Mm-hmm. And now that he's president, he's open. They're open borders.
All right, so then we have another clip, and this is pretty much a similar type of narrative too. This is Senator Lindsey Graham from South Carolina, Republican, and he's on the Hannity Show on Fox News.
I hope Republicans will remember, like most Democrats, you voted for $25 billion for border security funding in February of 2018. If it's a manufactured crisis, Senator Schumer, Speaker Pelosi, why did you vote for a border security package less than a year ago that had $25 billion for border security, including wall money? The problem is not the policy. The problem is that my Democratic friends don't acknowledge that President Trump won. That's the problem.
You know what? Lindsey Graham, and not just Lindsey Graham, but many politicians have a way of telling on themselves without knowing. Because he just mentioned that they approved of a $25 billion package
Just last year.
just last year. Now,
then at the end, what did
but
he
he
say?
didn't say anything about why that did not go through.
Okay, so we can tackle that first.
So,
We can
so I
tackle that
wonder
first.
why he didn't mention anything about that not going through and why that didn't go through. If indeed, which they did, if Schumer and Pelosi kind of agreed to fund the wall in portion.
Yeah.
And partly fund the wall.
Well, the agreement was, he's right. It was $25 billion.
Mm-hmm.
It was going to be spread out over 10 years. And that's the agreement that Pelosi and Schumer thought they had reached with President Donald Trump. But then Trump, I guess he reneged, and it wasn't a deal anymore. Because what were they going to get for that $25 billion?
Well, again, it wasn't just the $25 billion for the wall.
Right.
They were actually going to get a reduction in legal immigration.
Right.
So a reduction in legal immigration, not just illegal immigration, a reduction in legal immigration and the wall in exchange for protecting people who were already here, like deferred action for childhood arrivals recipients.
Right, and setting up a path to citizenship.
And setting
as
up
well.
a path to citizenship, which is just protecting people who are already here.
Right.
This is this kind of shows that it's not about criminals and it's not about illegal immigration. The Republicans didn't want to take a deal that involved protecting people that have already proved their worth.
Right. But that deal didn't go through. All right. It didn't even reach a vote. All right. So the Democrats, they didn't even get to vote on that particular deal. Right. Now, well, later on in the year, they might have, in I believe it was June, but it still didn't go through.
It didn't go through.
Yeah, it didn't go
Trump
through.
blew it up.
Trump blew it up. Now, the deal, like in this interview, Lindsey Graham is talking about how he's gonna get to work. He's gonna present these bills so that we can actually get this done. Now, if you paid attention to the end of that clip, he's saying that what the problem is not policy. The problem is that the Democrats don't want to realize, or they don't want to admit, that President Trump won the election. Now, how do you reconcile that with Lindsey Graham just saying that the Democrats voted in favor of $25 billion?
Like I said.
So if they were okay with $25 billion for the wall just under a year ago, then how are they not realizing or coming to grips with Trump being the president? Under Trump, they were like, yeah, okay, we'll give you your wall, but you know what? You got to do this for us. We're going to get DACA. We're going to protect these people, and we're going to set up a pathway to citizenship.
Talking about compromise is
Yes,
what you're
we're talking about compromise. But see, that pathway is completely blew up, right? So on Thursday, I think it was earlier today, because that interview, I believe, that might have been that night on Tuesday, after the presidential address. But Lindsey Graham got to work, and he was talking to his GOP cohorts, his GOP senators, and they couldn't even come to an agreement. They couldn't come to a deal. Now, these are these moderate senators like Susan Collins from Maine, but they still couldn't come to an agreement. I believe Lindsey Graham, he said, I think we're stuck. I just don't see a pathway forward. I don't know who to talk to, and I don't know what else to do. Now, again, he wants to revisit that same deal. He wants to provide a pathway, I believe, I'm not sure, to citizenship for the Dreams. I'm not sure about that, but he does want to protect them, right? That's what the Democrats will get in return. Mike Pence, the VP, is like, nah, we're going to let the courts handle that, because right now DACA is in the courts. So they want to see how the courts are going to decide on DACA, and then maybe we'll do something. So basically what we have here is the Republicans, all the Republicans that are in the House and the Senate, Republican president, all of them are sitting up here telling the United States citizens, hey, look, this is the Democrat shutdown, okay? We want them to negotiate in good faith. This is what we want, but we're not going to give them anything. But they're not negotiating in good faith.
So
they just need to bend over and take it.
So offering $25 billion for a wall, offering a reduction in immigration in general, legal immigration, that's not arguing in good faith. It seems as if the individuals who are arguing in bad faith are Lindsey Graham and the Republicans.
It would seem so.